All right, as always, we're going to wrap up the show hitting some of the fan favorite segments. We're going to start with arrow pointing up. And Jordan, I will let you take it away on arrow pointing up.
All right, first one, baseball season. Not really including the Atlanta Braves, who are now 0-7. But are we saying trust the process? Are we tanking 7 games in the season? No, but I think bigger picture. I love baseball season. The weather, we're starting to kind of get the spring weather here in Athens, and let's shout out Georgia baseball. They're now 29-2, going to Texas for a big 3-game series in Austin. I love baseball season. Ben, I think you do as well. And I love the spring season. I love the weather getting nice where we can go outside and enjoy some baseball. And maybe before too long, the Braves will give us something to celebrate.
Well, yeah, I need to get over to a Georgia baseball game. They look incredibly fun to watch. I will shamelessly plug our site at all times. And Olivia Sayer has done an unbelievable job covering Georgia baseball. And I think that, I don't know who the powers that be were that decided now is the exact moment in time we needed someone to cover Georgia baseball in an elite way. But man, did they pick the right time to do it. Braves, I'm not even going to give them the time of day on this show.
One other thing I'll shout out, not necessarily an arrow pointing up. It's kind of, I don't know what you would say here. I want to say R.I.P. Val Kilmer, fantastic actor in so many good movies. And I was going to bring up, if you're listening to this, you're not going to see this clip. It has no audio, but it's a clip of Val Kilmer from the start of the movie Heat. And I had this thought separate, but our buddy Jake Rowe at Dogs HQ pointed this out too. Ben, you're kind of rocking the Val Kilmer look with the hair. Was that inspired by Val Kilmer?
Wait,
have you ever noticed?
Jake didn't say this publicly, did he? He's not out here. He's not putting my hairstyles on blast publicly, is he?
No, this was a conversation. He just brought it up, and I was like, I swear the first time I saw Heat, when I saw Val Kilmer's hair, this is the very beginning of the movie, I was like, it kind of looks like the way Ben wears his hair.
If I can, I'll take Val Kilmer. The comments that the people on our message board are liable to make about me and my hairstyle, if Val Kilmer is the least of my concerns. Shout out to a legend, Val Kilmer. Obviously, very sad news to hear of his passing.
Now, do you see it? Is my question.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Now I'm gonna have to go watch this movie too. Underrated, great movie.
Fantastic. All right, over to you.
All right, I've got a few. I'll say April 7th. We've already talked about the settlement date, and we might get an answer. We might not on April 7th. I will also be at Augusta National Golf Club for the first time on April 7th. So I believe our guy Kip Adams will also be there on Monday, April 7th. So about 4 days away from that. If all hell breaks loose in college football with this ruling, I might not even have my access to my phone at the point that this is all happening. So this is a arrow pointing up on April 7th being an important date. And also just a reminder for you that yet again, you might be responsible for doing my job for me.
Our boss called just before, Ben. They want to send you to the courtroom. So it sounds like that ticket's up for grabs. I don't want it to go to waste. I'll take it for you. I hate that, but I know you're so committed to the job that you're going to go. You're going to do a great job.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna give that one the time of day. I've waited my whole life for this day, and I can't believe that it's here. I even looked at the weather. It looks like it's going to be a bad weather day for me. Don't care. I'm looking forward to it. I will put arrow pointing up on arrow pointing up because a few episodes ago during arrow pointing up, I threw out a little tidbit that one of the arrow pointing up was Georgia legacies. And I didn't want to get into the details of it at the time, but we now know we have some news that the son of Richard Seymour, NFL Hall of Famer, his son, London Seymour, played for the undefeated North Gwinnett high school football team this year, was supposed to sign with Boston College in December and didn't, and then thought he was going to in February and didn't. And around that time, around signing day, we started to get some word. I think I was even jumping the gun a little bit on signing day with you, Jordan, that we thought London Seymour might be signing with Georgia that day. That didn't end up happening, but I've been in contact with London throughout, the last few months, seeing how that thing was materializing. And every time spring practice was coming out, it was like, oh, London Seymour is going to be there. Oh, London Seymour is going to be there. London Seymour is going to be there. And eventually I got to the point with London. I was like, are you ever going to actually let people know you're planning to be at Georgia? And he just eventually said, you know what? I'm fine. You can let the people know. So we did. It is official. He will be with Georgia officially come May. an interesting take because he was going to sign as a full-time scholarship athlete at Boston College. So anytime you're able to get a guy like that late, sort of a steal. I mean, he's 6'4", 300 plus. He has some traits that I could see him. People on our board brought it up. Like Richard Seymour was a little bit of a late bloomer in terms of his growth. I wouldn't call London Seymour a late bloomer because he's 6'4", 305 at the last time that I saw he got measured in. But someone, just intriguing. But arrow pointing up that we were able to give a little bit of intel during one of these segments as well.
Yeah, I think that's with London, that's a nice roll of the dice. I don't know that you have really anything to lose when you're Georgia. You've got a Georgia legacy. We know what his dad did at Georgia and in the NFL. I like taking a chance on him, and let's see what he does over these next few years.
All right. I'm going to be good here, Jordan. I'm not trying to burn any bridges. I'm a great teammate. I love the work that our national site does. I love what some of the national shows that we have talking about recruiting. They do a fantastic job, but I'm going to go arrow pointing up on me having a little bit of a rant here, giving a take in response to a take from someone within the 24/7 umbrella. Smoke Dixon does an unbelievable job. Just before we got on here during their show earlier today, he had a comment about Kirby Smart and the general manager position. So I'm going to let you play that clip, and I'm going to give my response to it.
A bunch of gadgets in your play box. You don't really have many players.
Right.
You just have a bunch of little pieces that you hope that can work. But when you have somebody that's coming in and overlooking your roster from that 30,000 viewpoint of saying, okay, we have one gadget guy. That's all we need. If we need a backup for him, we can find it somewhere else. But we need a proven X, Z, F, U, whatever alphabetical letter that you want to say. But I'm going to put this team together through the vision of your eyes. Yeah. Lose out the emotions. Tell the coaches, I got it. But that's where a manager comes in. But also to be able to intervene for you in some of those meetings to negotiate contracts. In the NFL, rarely does a head coach negotiate a contract with a free agent.
Well, Kirby was already saying that he was sick of the agents and didn't want to deal with them. So that's somebody that would take care of that.
1,000%. You don't have to ever meet with them. I'll just bring back the information that you need to proceed on to the next player. Yeah. And if you don't like it, fine. I'll be the bad guy. You can MF me all you want and tell me, get that out of your face, but it's okay. I'm the guy that's standing in between you and that scum that wants to get into the office.
All right, well, let me start by saying shout out Smoke Dixon, shout out Bud Elliott, shout out Emily Proud, all three true pros. They do a great job. Great show. I love listening. I know that we had a little bit of a back and forth today as well talking about this, but it's something that obviously whenever national folks are talking about your more niche environment, obviously I'm going to get questions about it. People are going to want my takes on the matter. And to put it bluntly, the Kirby Smart and general manager conversation is one of the most pointless conversations that we could possibly have. And here I am about to have it again. Anyway, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago when we were talking about the shifting around of the collective and the athletic department. And I mentioned a lot of names of people within Georgia's football program: Will Myers, James Ellis, Stephen Drummond. We were talking about the collective side as well. Like, I think the biggest misnomer in all of this is that there needs to be someone with a general manager title for general manager responsibilities to take effect. And I think that there is this notion that because Georgia has not hired a general manager, that there aren't multiple people within Georgia's athletic department that take on being the general manager responsibilities. And I just called them out, but I'll call out two specifically. Will Myers and James Ellis have titles of director of player personnel and director of scouting. You put what those two do together and all of their responsibilities when it comes to talent evaluation, identifying, what Georgia needs on its roster, having conversations with agents and representatives and dealing with some of the negotiations and navigating the salary cap and everything that you would be expecting a general manager to do, I promise you, Will Myers and James Ellis do that at Georgia. And so do some people feel like there needs to be a general manager to have a general manager? Sure, I guess some people feel that way. Kirby Smart is never going to feel that way. And I had this brought up to me this way. These general managers at all these schools, they're all making, six figures, 100,000, 150,000, something like that. Answering to head coaches that are making $10 million plus dollars. I don't care what schools have GM titles. In no world is someone making $10 million just signing off and saying, hey, you in a completely different tax bracket from me are going to get to make final decisions that are going to impact my own financial future. Like, I don't even know right offhand because Georgia has operated differently in terms of titling folks. Like, Steve Sarkisian gets final say over any general manager. Mario Cristobal gets final say over any general manager. Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, name any $10 million plus coach in college football. They might have a general manager by title, but the general manager doesn't just get to call the shots. In the NFL, oftentimes a head coach is answering to a general manager. That will never happen in Athens, Georgia, nor should it, given every proven track record that Kirby Smart has when it comes to recruiting, talent evaluation, and talent acquisition. So I hope that was a delicate way of saying, Smoke, respectfully disagree with your take that Georgia needs a general manager. There are people at Georgia that are the general manager, even if they don't have the title.
Well, first off, Ben, you kind of sounded like Kirby there. That's a misnomer. You've been listening to Kirby a little too much.
I feel I knew it. The second I said it, I was like, wait, Kirby said misnomer to Josh Pate in our clip that we had earlier. So someone that is not on my side on this, maybe it's you, Smoke. Maybe I've just been brainwashed by Kirby Smart. I don't know. But I do think that Kirby Smart knows what he's doing. And he's not having to field 100% of these conversations just because he is acting as general manager. He has a great organization of people in place that are doing this. I thought you gave a great analogy before we got on the show that is similar to past conversations we've had in the Georgia world.
Yeah, the thing I compared it to was when Georgia did not have on its official roster in the media guide a special teams coach, and a kick would get blocked or there would be a muff punt and it'd be like, well, yeah, we don't have a special teams coach. It's being coached. It's just someone did not have that official title. The thing to me, Ben, like with what you just explained, like, maybe Kirby 10 years ago is really micromanaging and not letting other people get in, because he was like that with the defense. He was really trying to run it his first year. And I think in time, which is totally fair, he learned, I'm going to let my position coaches, my coordinators run their side of the ball. Maybe back then he would have been the only guy, if the college football world that we're in now was in operation then. But no, I mean, he's got plenty of people working with him. I thought you handled it quite well. That pretty much summed up what I was thinking. They're rolling right along, and Kirby's going to sign off on these guys, but getting plenty of input from the people around him along the way.
And I love, for starters, I love when people give takes that I disagree with, this, because it just means that I'm able to disagree with them. So it's all love on my end on the 24/7 side of things. There's probably other takes in the 24/7 umbrella I probably could have gone on a rant about during this show, but I'll hold back on doing too much of that today. But just rest assured, Will Myers and James Ellis are good at their job. They know what they're doing. And I would say that there's many a general manager in college football that are doing the exact same types of things and have the exact same say-so and responsibility that those two guys combined to be able to have in Georgia's personnel department.